Hey, this is ADVTRES, and I'm going to cover a 3-day camping trip I did with the Overland Bound Group to Anza Borrego. It was hosted by two individuals who are pretty well experienced and had GPX the route and knew the obstacles that we were going to hit. Our first night, Thursday night, we camped at Vallecito Creek, a really nice campsite, and then the next day we did Diablo Drop Off in Sandstone Canyon, and then camped in Fish Creek. From Fish Creek, we then moved to Ocotillo Wells up this Butte Pass Road, went and saw the Five Palms and the Calcite Mine, and then we camped at the South Palm. So Thursday night at Vallecito Creek, we had set up camp, and then, like I said, there were 10 rigs there, and it was beautiful. You could hike up on the hills and look out over the desert. And set up camp. I have a ground tent, and we had a campfire at night, and then we headed out the next day into the wash. In this wash, there's actually mud caves, so you got to kind of explore around to find them, but there's also lots of little I guess they're called arroyos that are really fun to explore and trek down. And this was, when you're looking out over the desert, like from a high vantage point, you don't see all these little riverways or runways, and they are just a blast to drive down. And again, the road conditions were actually pretty good. I mean, there's rocky areas that you have to navigate and pick yourself through. There's also some tight areas, especially in Sandstone Canyon, where you may or may not need a spotter, depending on the size of your rig, to navigate through. And what's really fun is the geology of this area is very diverse. There's sandstone, mudstone, and all the different layering effects that make it very interesting. And the nice thing about going out, especially with the Overland Bound group, is everyone has different rigs, right? There were fully kitted out beautiful Jeeps. There was 4Runners, fully kitted, full-size trucks. You can see the Xterra. There was Tacomas. So it's really cool to be able to see how these rigs maneuver through different obstacles and the different gear and accessories people bring to really help you identify for your overlanding or your adventuring kit, really what you want and what may work and what other options there may be out there, and actually get to talk to people about, how do they like it? What would they do differently? And it's also helpful as, kind of new to off-roading for me, to be able to have somebody that's maybe a little bit more experienced or maybe a lot more experienced than me ahead of me, so that I can watch the line and how they navigate the obstacle to help boost my confidence as I'm going through it. And as I said in the intro, our first day, it was about 9 hours from the Bay Area down to Anza Borrego. It was my first time actually being to Anza Borrego. I'd been to Death Valley, but not Anza Borrego, so this was totally new, and I had no idea what to expect. I did know that the event hosts had been out to this area. They knew it pretty well. They already, knew the obstacles that we were going to hit. Of course, trail conditions change. So that was really nice to have that resource there as you're going through it. So our first night, like I said, we arrived kind of late in the afternoon, set up camp. And then the second day we went exploring, looking for the mud caves, and then went to Diablo Drop Off, which was a little bit of an intimidating drop for me, not having done something like that. But the team was really experienced, and we'll get to some video of that in a minute. And then this is going through Sandstone Canyon, which was really beautiful. And if you do get an opportunity to go down to Anza Borrego, This is one of the things that I would put on the, like Death Valley and Titus Canyon. This is one of the things that I would definitely put on the list of things to go do, to explore. The canyon does get a little tight, and so if you have like a full-size rig, you might just want to be a little careful on some of these ledges and overhangs. But otherwise than that, there was no problem at all, no major obstacles, other than what I'll call these tight rock crossings. Maybe rock crossing is the wrong word. It's just a tight, narrow area that you need to get your vehicle through with zero pinstriping or carnage. And like I said, the Overland Bound team, they had a lot of experienced drivers there to help spot us. So we made it through with no issues whatsoever. And then the canyon does dead end, so you do have to kind of turn around and come back. So you want to make sure that no other rigs are down there, because there is really nowhere to turn around to let another rig go by. And in Sandstone Canyon, there are kind of two tight areas. And then this is actually coming back through. The first tight rock you'll hit, that is kind of like the rock standing by itself. And then in Sandstone Canyon, there's one other kind of tight area where you have to kind of go through this big boulder and the rock or the mudstone face. Going with a group like Overland Bound, there's experienced overlanders there to help you and spot you and get you through these obstacles with confidence and support. There were a couple bigger obstacles like this, and I don't remember what it was called. So if you know what it is, leave a comment down below. But there was a huge, really soft sand descent that I have like zero experience driving in soft sand. So really, I just put Alice in gear and tried, not to oversteer coming down the hill. And it was actually quite a bit of fun. This is pretty rocky terrain, so very much like Death Valley, I recommend that you have good tires and be sure to air down. And then this was one of our companions on the trip, and this was probably one of the more intimidating obstacles for me, because it was like a rocky ledge and then it kind of dropped down. And I have only had a tire up in the air a couple times, so when I watched them I was like, oh goodness, but they did it perfectly. And they have a stock TRD 4Runner, so I was like, well, that gave me a little confidence. They were able to do it, I think I can do it. And that's again a really nice component of going out with groups is you can see other people being successful navigating these obstacles. So for me, new overlander, you just pick your line, stick to it, and try to navigate it the best you can. And again, this individual did awesome. So it was really inspiring to watch them go through. And then, having Alice, and, Alice has a lift and, the off-road tires. It really gave me the confidence that I could do it as well. And we made it back home in one piece, so that was awesome. So overall, the trip was super well organized. You get to meet new people and share stories, and I would really recommend this to anyone getting into overlanding or wanting to go out there and experience it, with the safety net of having a larger group. Now this is Diablo Drop Off, and you can see the divots on either side. So we had watched one vehicle actually come up this, and I'm not out there to flex my suspension, so I picked the less flexy path. And it was awesome. And again, a great group of people out there to help spot and help provide guidance. Everybody was using their ham radios. That worked super well. I had just gotten mine installed, so it was really nice to have that assurance. So overall, this is a great trip. Anybody thinking about doing one of these, I would definitely recommend it. The group was super friendly. Everybody kind of comes from different backgrounds, and it was and different rigs. So it was a super good learning experience for me. And I'll definitely be going out again.